Found on Politico News, Trump announces a 30-day suspension of travel from Europe. The president addressed the coronavirus epidemic, actually now is a pandemic, addressed by the WHO agency. The World Health Organization is now considered it a pandemic. But coronavirus epidemic or pandemic in a White House speech today. President Donald Trump on Wednesday announced that a 30-day bar on foreigners traveling from most of Europe to the United States in an effort to curb the spread of the coronavirus, ratcheting up his administration's response after battling criticism for previously downplaying the crisis. In a rare address from the Oval Office, Trump said the European Union had failed to take the same precautions as the U.S. had implemented to contain the coronavirus outbreak, prompting his decision to temporarily suspend travel between the two continents. The restrictions will not apply to the United Kingdom, where the number of confirmed cases topped 400 on Wednesday. We made a life-saving move with early actions on China. Now we must take the same actions with Europe, Trump said in an 11-minute televised address, referencing his February decisions to restrict travel from China. Smart action today will prevent the spread of the virus tomorrow. Trump blamed travelers from Europe for bringing the coronavirus to the U.S., which currently has over 1,000 coronaviruses. The U.S. has, that's what they're saying is the U.S. currently has more than 1,000 coronavirus cases just in the U.S. right now. That's just the confirmed cases. There's several other people that are sick that are not confirmed and not actually seeking help. They're just sitting at home, trying to get over the flu or trying to get over cold-like symptoms. And that's pretty much what it comes off like, but it's so much more damaging than that. A number of new clusters in the United States were seeded by travelers from Europe, he said. The Department of Homeland Security later clarified that the restrictions only prohibited I love pointing this out. I love doing this. Okay, right here it says, the Department of Homeland Security later clarified that got it. You see it there? That. Anyways, just pointed that out. Pun intended. The restrictions only prohibited foreign nationals traveling from Europe to enter the U.S. Trump also said he would soon be taking an emergency action to provide financial cushion to business owners and individuals hit by the coronavirus, including directing the Small Business Administration to provide emergency capital to impacted companies. So great. Give some more money to small companies who are impacted because of this travel ban. Additionally, Trump said he will defer tax payments for certain entities that have been affected by the virus. The president asked Congress to include a paid sick leave mandate and payroll tax cut in a stimulus package that is currently being ironed out on Capitol Hill. While lawmakers have coalesced around the sick leave proposal, the payroll tax cut has been a harder sell. The president was careful to avoid dire language as he talked about the economy, which he and congressional Republicans have routinely cited as a major accomplishment as they campaign for re-election. This is not a financial crisis. This is just a temporary moment of time that we will overcome as a nation and as a world, Trump said, adding that the U.S. economy is well positioned to withstand the impacts of the virus because our banks and financial institutions are fully capitalized and incredibly strong. Trump's Oval Office address marked a dramatic shift in messaging for a president who, as recently as Monday, compared the rapidly spreading virus to the common flu and tweeted that nothing is shut down, life and the economy go on. The remark was the latest in a series of inaccurate comments Trump has made about the virus as the number of confirmed cases has climbed over the past 2 weeks. Often his public statements have contradicted top U.S. officials and cabinet secretaries. Who have encouraged Americans, particularly older adults and those with chronic health conditions, to take the outbreak seriously. On Wednesday, Trump said all elderly individuals should cancel non-essential travel in crowded areas to reduce their risk of the exposure to the virus. Every community faces different risks, and it is critical for you to follow the guidelines of your local officials. He said the president's warning came hours after 2 U.S. officials testified on Capitol Hill that the worst is yet to come. They suggested that the Americans should brace for further disruptions to their daily lives, such as school closures, travel bans, and cancellations of large gatherings. We have got to assume it is going to get worse and worse and worse, said Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and a member of the Trump administration coronavirus task force, at an earlier congressional hearing earlier Wednesday. Fauci's testimony was validated hours later when the World Health Organization officially declared COVID-19 as a global pandemic, triggering a swift decline in U.S. markets and prompting Trump to schedule his televised address. In Europe, Italy has suffered the most with over 10,000 cases. Just in Italy alone, the country suspended most of its commercial activity on Monday as it essentially asked its population to shelter in place, basically quarantine themselves. There was about 16 million of them in Italy that were actually quarantined. Elsewhere in Europe, France, Spain, and Germany all over have over 1,000 cases. So currently in the United States, off topic here, it's not here, but in the United States, we currently have 1,000 and more cases, probably even more than that, is what a lot of skeptics say. And so then if we have 1,000 or more here, then we would have more than what Europe, France, Spain, and Germany all have. And they all say that they have over 1,000 cases. And well, so do we, but we're not as big as Europe, France, Spain, and Germany all combined. I mean, that's quite a big amount. China, where the disease started, remains the hardest hit with over 80,000 cases. Well, we know that that's a lie because there's obviously way more than that. There's millions of people that are infected with the coronavirus over there. Cases and upwards of deaths of over 3,000. In other reports, I've actually seen 5,000 and 10,000, and some whistleblowers I've even heard of 50,000 deaths and bodies being burned every day in a crematory where the crematory runs 24/7. South Korea and Iran have also seen massive outbreaks, and Trump placed travel restrictions on both of those countries. Hours after the pandemic declaration, Trump announced his plans to address the nation about the deadly virus, a move that put some officials inside the administration on edge, given the president's attention-grabbing comments so far. One administration official suggested Trump could kiss a second term goodbye if he failed to strike a more serious tone about the coronavirus outbreak that has already infected several hundred Americans and could impact a significant chunk of the U.S. population. According to the epidemiologists, people who study these viruses and deal with these viruses, who have been closely tracking the virus. Even before Trump addressed the nations, his decision to deliver an Oval Office address alerted aides and lawmakers to possible change in his approach. And so in my previous video, someone named Sid Roth made a video. Sid Roth is a YouTuber also who has, he's an investigative reporter for people that have actually claimed that they died and then gone to heaven. Well, he also has a friend that's a rabbi, and the rabbi, and I made the video of it, and it's him reading the letter, and I believe it was Sid Roth has a message, or God has a message for President Trump, was the title of that video, and it's on this channel here. And so a little bit of discord for that explanation of that letter was basically that this rabbi had actually a premonition, a vision from God, and God was telling him, if you want this virus halted in its steps, not just stop the virus completely, you're not going to be able to stop this virus because it came from heaven. It came from God himself. And the reason why it came from God is because there's a lot of people that are being selfish into themselves, not focusing on God, focusing on their own well-beings, what they can get in life, greed, lust, and just living on their own, and actually forgetting about God and what God's done. And so as our generations go on, we become more and more displaced from the facts of the Bible and what God has actually done for our country, and how many people actually died for the freedom of this country. And we get so distant from that. We get focused on glamour, Botox, how pretty we can look, how muscular we can look, how great we are. We become pretty much our own gods. And right now, God himself is actually saying, you have to have a national day of prayer, is what he told Trump in a letter. The rabbi had actually sent his vision and what he understood that God was telling him to President Donald Trump, that basically you need to call a day of national prayer. And in doing so, this virus will stop in its place. And so if he doesn't call a day of prayer, at least we can pray for ourselves, pray for our families, pray for those that are, just pray for our country. Pray for our country that this virus will stop. Even if there isn't a national day of prayer, we as individuals hearing what I'm saying right now, we need to pray that our country does not get this virus, and that the virus stops in its tracks, because there's only one God that can do it, and one person that can do it, and that's God. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I hope that this video was informative to you. This is breaking news. It only came out about 45 minutes ago. Please make sure that you share and subscribe to this YouTube channel. You heard it here first or second. Thanks for watching, and more content to come.